Oh, so I guess they got tired of me saying COVID and shit, because they sure cut the fucking video off at like fucking 17 minutes and shit. No, I think it was like 25 minutes. I don't know how long that video was. But I'm like, I was saying, you know, I was using COVID for an excuse for everything. Somebody tried to give me, because COVID was like the best time for me to stack my money up. Nobody was going to work. Everybody was collecting unemployment. So I was like, shit, when everybody was like, yeah, there's about to be another shutdown, I said, shit, this time around, I'm gonna sit my ass at the fucking house and collect them checks for 26 weeks. Shit. If I would have known I could have just sat around and collected a check for 26 fucking weeks, I damn sure would have. Shit, fuck being out here at work. Let me sit my ass the fuck down for 26 weeks. Shit. My auntie out here going to Vegas, gambling and shit for 26 weeks, but then she crying about how she broke. I wish anybody would have the nerve to ask me for some goddamn money. I don't got it. As far as you know, I'm broke. Shit, I ain't got it. If I gotta wear some shoes with some holes in it, some pants with some holes in it, looking like I'm out here like Yeezys and shit, I will. Be looking like a whole bum, and you wouldn't even know the wiser. Because people be out there flexing on the internet and all of this. Like, and then the funny part about it though, like, you up there on the internet flexing for people who don't even like you. And that just really honestly don't care. You know? That's why I say, like, narcissists are illusionists. You know, they thrive on definitely words of affirmation because they sell people dreams. You know, they make promises they can't keep. They, you know, they future fake, you know, talk about the future, and they know they ain't about to fulfill no promises or nothing like that. Like, that's why I just be like, I'm from the show me state, so baby, you better show me. And even with that, it still comes discernment. You know, a lot of people end up, you know, deceived because you don't listen or trust your intuition. Your intuition is never gonna lie to you. You know, a lot of people fall into cognitive dissonance where it's just like, you know, they show you who they are, but then they try to, you know, backpedal. Oh, you know, I'm not that bad because, you know, I did this and this and this, and those were nice things. No, that doesn't change the bad. You gotta look at the good and look at the bad, because, you know, good people do bad shit, bad people do good shit. So to me, it really boils down to righteous and unrighteous. Like, when it comes to narcissistic people, you know, that's more of a spiritual battle for them, because, you know, it could start off probably small, like, I'm gonna go to the mall and I'm gonna steal something. They steal clothes or they whatever it is. Next thing you know, they get a thrill and a rush out of it. So it's like they keep doing it because, like, oh, I haven't been caught. That's like literally how, like, narcissistic people are. They do shit and they keep doing it because they get away with it. It's not until they get caught that they actually, you know, are forced to stop or whatever. You know, a lot of them don't want to end up in jail, so they do just the bare minimum to stay getting, you know, to stay out of jail. You know, some of them, they just don't give a fuck. They'll do whatever and still go to jail. They don't care. Usually most of them do have criminal backgrounds. You know, that's why it's good to learn who you're dealing with, you know, and that takes time. You know, the number one thing that narcissistic and toxic people love to do is they try to get their claws and their hooks in you quickly. They try to lure you in quickly. But when you kind of pump the brakes and you want to take things slow, they don't like that. They don't like it at all. Because it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time to try to love bomb and try to future fake and try to, you know, it takes a lot of money to give you gifts. They don't want to be fronting out all this money on you without a return on their investment. You know what I'm saying? So, but they are masters of illusions, you know, and anybody can fall prey to them. But back to the social media site or whatever, where these people, they were just arguing, and one person was trying to, I guess, make them, it came off like the person was trying to make themselves superior than everyone else that was like on the post or whatever. But it's like, in order for you to be on the post, you're in the group. So why the fuck are you in this group if you're so superior and you have not succumbed to a toxic, narcissistic person ever in your life? Why the fuck are you here? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel that you have gotten at a certain level or whatever, exit the group. Why are you still here? You know, there are people still learning. There are people's educational levels or whatever, you know, people are at different levels. We are all on our own soul journey, and we learn at different levels, at different paces. And some people kill me with that. That's just like with the whole spiritual journey stuff, or the spiritual shit in general. Some people, oh, well, I already knew that information. You slow. Well, if that individual didn't know X, Y, Z, they just didn't know. Don't sit there and try to put them down or make it seem like you behind. You are right where you deserve to be or where you should be. There is no, oh, you should already knew, or oh, you learned when you learned and when it was time for you to learn. You know, because there are people out here making the same foolish mistakes over and over and over again because they're not learning the lessons. So if you're learning the lessons, okay, well, it's about time then, you know? And you learned when it was time for you to learn. I can't stand when people are like, I mean, because there's a lot of information that I already know. And somebody will be trying to call themselves trying to teach me something. I'm like, in my mind, I'll be like, baby, I already know this information. You know, that's why I be laughing. Like the holy narcs are the ones that really blow my mind and make me laugh. You know, like my mom up there, well, my mom called herself trying to teach me about the Bible and all of this. Well, you know, the letter J wasn't created until the 1600s. So back in the Hebrew, lady, I already know this. And she's still talking. I'm like, you're just learning this. I already learned this. And I already learned it a couple years ago. Because narcissists generally don't like to read. They generally don't like to learn anything new. Generally, they think they know everything anyway. Y'all remember hearing that saying, stop thinking you know it all. Well, the empaths and people who are actually in tune with their spiritual gifts, who are clairvoyant, clairaudient, intuitive, and, you know, they are tapped in with their spiritual gifts, they are, if you want to call them know-it-alls. You know what I'm saying? They know more than you. From the 1950s all the way to the crystal babies who are 21 and younger, you know, we are just older souls that are coming in. You know, people born in the 1960s, their souls are older than the people in the 1950s. People in the 1970s, their souls are older than the people in the 1960s. The 1980s babies' souls are older than the people in the 1970s. The 1990 babies, me, I'm a 90s baby, our souls are older than the people born in the 1980s on back. So I always knew that my soul was older than, you know, even my great-grandmother told me, you got an old soul. That's not the first time I heard it. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, even my mom, they all knew my spiritual gifts and talents before I ever realized them. Because I'm more, I guess, spiritually advanced. You know, that's why I'm an empath. Like, this is just a theory. But, you know, again, like I said, like my mom, for example, she was born in the 60s. Before that, my grandma was born in the 30s. Before that, my great-grandmother was like 1900s. The vibration and the frequency of the planet was totally different then than it is now. And both my great-grandmother and grandmother are dead. So it just leaves my mother from the 60s and me in the 90s, and then my niece who was born in the 2000s. My niece's soul is older than mine. My great-niece's soul is older than mine. I don't mind learning from them, but I'm open-minded to that. A lot of people are out here thinking they kids and they babies are just that. These are ancient beings and ancient souls coming here to do work, coming here to fulfill their missions. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, everything is spiritual first. You know? Every generation has its role. I don't know what the role of the people from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s on before me. I just know my role for me and my generation. And I say me and my generation because my generation, the 90s babies, we are the ones tearing down the lies. You know what I'm saying? I guess millennials, I don't know. It's a little confusing even to me because it's like 90s babies, our souls are older than people in the 80s on back, but at the same time they want to try and tell us that millennials is from like somewhere in the 80s to like 95. Those are considered millennials, and then this generation is Generation X, this generation is, you know what I'm saying, all of that. I forgot which generations is what, but if you look at astrology, you can tell the generations based on the planet Pluto. Pluto was it in Scorpio or Capricorn? I can't remember. I have to go look at I have to go look at my birth chart to look and see. But anybody born, I was born 91. So anybody born with the same Pluto as me, we are in the same generation. And I like to call this the generation of exposure, the generation of truth, you know, because in our generation, we have a lot more black sheeps. Are you a black sheep? I was definitely a black sheep. So I'm just saying, like, on a spiritual level, again, I've always been told that I'm like, I was a kid speaking on the level of like a teenager. Then I was a teenager speaking on the level of an adult. Here I am 30. And even other people know that I can speak on a level probably as someone in their 50s or 60s. That just goes to show that, I guess if you want to use the term wiser soul, just an older soul. You know, I've been around the block. Shit, I don't remember my past life, but shit, let me remember that shit. I'll let you know. But for real, it's just a theory, right? That, you know, what if in former lives, as we came here to learn and evolve our souls, what if we were all at one point on our soul journey narcissistic or narcissists? You know what I'm saying? What if we were? And as we evolved and changed and grew spiritually, that's when we became empaths. You know? I don't know, it's just a theory. I really can't say. But it's just something to think about. It's something that just crossed my mind that I just wonder about. But certain things I can't speak on because out of meditation, you know. I mean, it is just facts, you know. Like my niece and my great niece. My great niece, I know for sure. I mean, she might be in a toddler's body, but that baby is already smart as a whip. You know, a lot of these kids are smart as whips. And instead of, you know, you calling them stupid and dumb, and, you know, you got to understand, they're an ancient soul in the body of a child. they still have to be taught, you know, to cross the road and look both ways and stuff. Because other than that, yeah, they will get hit by a car. You can't expect a toddler, a child, someone that's learning. You can't expect a teenager, someone who's still growing and learning, to know what an adult is learning. Look at our elders who are I'm gonna say 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s on up. You know what I'm saying? They still are not as smart. You know, there was a saying, a fool will always be a fool. But when I really think about it, most of the people that watch my channel are older than me. And I get why. Just based off my theory that I just said about how people in the 60s are older than the people in the 50s. People in the 70s are older than the people in the 60s. And so far, I mean, the 2010 babies are older than the 2000 babies. The 2000 babies are older than the 90s babies. And on and on and on until the 1950s. So it makes sense why people who are older than me be learning from me. But I, in return, can also learn from them because they've been in their human vessels in earth years longer than I've been in my vessel. So we can all learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as, oh, I'm the smartest and I know this and I know that. I feel as a soul, we all have a job. And just like how we have physical jobs, you know, some people are truck drivers. I'm a truck driver. Some people are doctors. Some people are lawyers. Some people are garbage men.